So welcome. We are going to look at this is ATD Level 2 paper, Financial Accounting, the August 2021 sitting, and specifically we'll be looking at question 1. We'll be looking at question 1, August 2021, Financial Accounting ATD Level 2 paper. So we'll start, and the first question, explain the following accounting concepts. Explain the following accounting concepts. The first one, substance over form. Substance over form concept. Now, substance over form concept is basically one of the key pillars in accounting that helps us help shape accounting, and this helps in ensuring that you deliver the right information. You give information with the right intent. That is information that actually says states the true position of the business, as opposed to just following the rules with an intention maybe of hiding some other stuff. So it's better to give information in a manner that can be easily understood by anybody, and in a manner that can help bring out the true position of the firm, than to merely follow legal rules and at the end of the day maybe hide something that is very important in decision making, or fail to communicate, to pass over the message to the parties who are supposed to use that information. So this is basically these are substance over form are accompanying disclosures, say that accompanying disclosures of a business should meet, accompanying disclosures of a business should meet or reflect the underlying realities of accounting, the underlying realities of accounting. The accompanying disclosures of business should meet or reflect the underlying realities of accounting. And basically what you are saying is that it should show the economic substance rather than the legal form. Economic substance. Any information you disclose should have that, should basically aim at showing the economic substance rather than the legal form. Because sometimes we hide in the legal rules, and at the end of the day, we don't deliver the information that we so much wanted to deliver, or we use the legal rules to hide the true position of the firm. So basically, substance over form discourages us from trying to hide anything, and encourages us to put information in a manner that can be understood, that will show the economic realities of the business as it is, as opposed to so much relying on the laws, which might not sometimes take us where we want to be. The prudence concept is also called the conservatism concept. And this is about not overstating the incomes, sorry for that, not overstating the incomes, but it's also about not understating the expenditures, and it's also about creating provisions. For incomes, profits, losses, so that we get the true position of the firm, as opposed to starting to counting what is not actually the reality, which can lead us into bad decision making. So prudence concept is about getting right. Let's be conservative. We will just realize it. We will when the right time comes to realize, we will realize. But before we are sure we need to factor that in our records. So it's about being conservatism. It's about being reservative, not being too ambitious. So if you're talking about incomes, let's not overstate. If you're not so sure of an income, let's not state it unless we are sure. It's the same thing with expenses. If you are not so sure of expenses, let's not. In fact, for expenses, if you are not so sure of the expenses, it's better to state them. It's better to state the expenses if you are not so sure. For incomes, it is better not to state if you are not sure. So you can see, and that's what we mean by incomes. We should not overstate. Expenditures, we should not understate. You can see the difference. And then we should always create provisions for income and expenditure to cater for any cases of uncertainty. Then you have consistency concept. Consistency is about doing the same thing year in, year out. Doing the same thing year in, year out. So we are following the same principles, the same concepts. What we did the previous year is what we are going to do this year. This is very important for the sake of uniformity in our records, and because it also allows decision making to take place. It allows decision making to take place, and basically meaningful conclusions. And like if we are to keep on changing these things every now and then. So what we are saying here is consistent concept is about applying the same principles or applying the same methods over the years throughout, being constant in our methodology of doing things. That will give us consistency that we so much desire. Consistency, applying the same principles, applying the same methodology of doing things over the year. So if, for example, we are depreciating at 10%, we expect that to continue over time, unless something major happens to change that trend. But once it changes again, you expect it to continue like that. You don't expect it to be changing every year. It can be a room. It can create room for fraud and embezzlement of funds, and even coming up with records that cannot be relied upon. And remember the key features of accounting information: understandability, reliability, relevance, and the other one was what? Understandable, should be understandable, should be relevant, it should be reliable, and it should be something else. But the whole thing is reliability here. We'll only rely if there is some form of consistency. So thank you for that. Let's move to the second part, which is now computation. So I hope you are well conversant. You have understood those three terms well: substance over form, prudence, consistency. Consistency, uniformity in the way we apply our principles and principles and methods. Prudence is about being reservative, being conservative. It's about creating provisions, about not overstating incomes and not understating the expenditures. Substance over form is about the economic substance rather than legal form, the economic realities of accounting. Thank you. Let's move to item number B. So let's look at the second part of this question. Let's look at the second part of the question. The following information relates to Zima Club for the year ended 30 June 2021. Zima Club for the year ended 30 June 2021. The club started the year with 4,780,000 in the bank. The club's treasurer received subscriptions amounting to 3171. This amount included 301 in arrears for the year ended 30th June 2020 and 399 in advance for the year ended 30th June 2022. During the year ended 30th June 2021, the club received 980 to the general fund and 880 to the election fund. The election fund had a balance of 150 as at 1st July 2020. During the year ended 30th June 2021, election expenses paid amounted to 720,000. The club held investments valued at 2 million on 1st July 2020. Half of these investments were sold for 1750 and the balance were valued at 1200. These investments generated an interest income of 364,000 during the year ended 30th June 2021. This income was received directly into the club's bank account. Office furniture was valued at 1.8 as at 1st July 2020. Additional furniture was acquired during the year and 170,000 was paid for, while 70,000 was still owing for the furniture as at 30th June 2021. Depreciation on office furniture is provided at the rate of 10% per annum on cost. During the year ended 30th June 2021, there was a receipt of 750,000 for sale of magazines. Magazines worth 60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. The total amount paid for production and sale of the magazines was 1.2 million. No inventories of magazines were left as at 30th June 2021. During the year, the club acquired an office building through a bank loan. The club paid the first installment of loan repayment of 80,000 on 20th June 2021. The office building was painted and partitioned at a total cost of 507,000 as at 30th June 2021. An amount of 150,000 of the cost of partitioning was still owing to the suppliers. Other payments made by the club during the year were those ones. Then accruals for the year were those ones. And prepayment for the year was that one, 300,000. Required receipts and payments account for the year ended 30th June 2021. It's a good question. It's very long, but good. And very long when reading, but workings, I hope it's not going to be that long because it's quite a straightforward question. Now, they only want us to come up with a receipt and payment account for the year ended 30th June 2021. So we'll simply go back, start Zima. This is Zima. What is it? Zima Society, Zima Club. So Zima Club, receipts and payments account, receipts and payments account for the year ended the year ended 30th June 2021. So receipts and payment account. You can as well, normally what happens, we just write receipt and payment account. So this one is a T ledger, the T account. So that's a T account. So we'll have our T. So this is credit, this is debit, like that. So then, what happens? We just record the receipts. It's that simple. So long as we have received, we record and we debit. So long as we have paid, we credit. Just like that. And we get the figures as they are. So long as it's a payment, so long as it's a receipt. There's no capital, we don't differentiate capital income from revenue income or capital expenditure from revenue expenditure. So long as you've spent, capture it. So long as you have received, capture it. So that is the rule. Let's move. The club started the year with 4780 in the bank. The club started the year with 4780 in the bank. So we expect bank balance to have a debit balance. So balance brought forward 4780. Okay, let's just work with the zeros. So let's assume here we have shillings, here we have shillings. So let's work with the zeros. We're not restricting the zeros. I think we can restrict the zeros. I'm seeing there are no figures out. Trying to check the figures. I think let's restrict the zeros. Yeah, let's restrict the zeros. I'm not seeing any figures that will give us any problems. So let's restrict the zeros. Make our work also a little bit easy. Sorry, I've deleted this again. So let me just do it afresh. That one is better. So shillings, and then we restrict the zeros, shillings, and then we restrict the zeros. So balance brought forward 4780. 4780 like that. Okay, so the club started the year with 4780 in the bank. The club's treasurer received subscription amounting to 3171. The fact that subscription has been received of 3171, perfect, we capture that. This amount included 301 in arrears for the year ended 30 June 2020 and 399 in advance for the year ended 30 June. So our interest is what was received, not the distribution. So it simply says subscriptions 3171. Subscriptions 3171. Since we received, we simply come in and say subscription 3171 like that. Then we go to the next one. During the year ended 30 June 2021, the club received 980,000 to the general fund and 880,000 to the election fund. The election fund had a balance of 150,000 as at 1st July 2020. During the year ended 30th June 2021, election expenses paid amounted to 720,000. So this is again quite straightforward. During the year ended 30th June 2021, the club received 980,000 to the general fund. So general fund we received. General fund 980,000. We are going to capture that one. General fund 980. Then come to the next one. And 880 to the election fund. So election fund also received 880. Election fund 880. Then the election fund had a balance of 150,000 as at 1st July 2020. This one is neither there nor here. We are not going to capture it because our interest is on the flow of money. Money coming in, money going out. So we are not less interested with that. During the year ended 30th June 2021, election expenses paid amounted to 720,000. So this is the year that we are talking about. We are interested in this year, 30th June 2021. So election expenses paid amounted to 720,000. So election expenses 720, and that becomes our first election expenses 720. So we move on. The club held investments valued at 2 million. Investments valued at 2 million on 1st July 2020. Half of these investments were sold for 1750. That's where our interest comes in. Investments sold 1750. And the balance were valued at 1.2. We are not interested in the balance. So half of these investments were sold for 1750. And I hope this amount was received. These investments generated an interest income of 364 during the year ended this. This income was received directly into the bank's account. So we will come here and say investments sold 1750. Investments sold 1750. Investments sold 1750. Then investment income. We are interested in the amount that we received. I think it was 364, subject to confirmation. Investment income, let me see. Yeah. This investment generated an interest income of 364,000 during the year ended 30 June 2021. This income was received directly into the club's bank account. So it was received. I'm just confirming 1750 was actually received. Yeah. Half of these investments were sold for 1750 and the balance were valued at 1200. So we can assume that we received because we even have the balance. So let's assume we received that amount. Office furniture was valued at 1.8. We are not interested in that. Additional furniture was acquired during the year and 170 was paid for, while 70,000 was still owing for the furniture. So we are interested in what was paid for. So furniture purchase 170,000. Purchase of furniture 170. Purchase of furniture, how much? 170, like that. Then we move on. $70 was still owing for the furniture as at 30 June 2021. Depreciation on office furniture is provided at the rate of 10% per annum on cost. That one also doesn't involve movement of cash. So depreciation of office furniture doesn't involve movement of cash. So during the year ended 30 June 2021, there was a receipt of $750,000 for sale of magazines. So sale of magazines, $750,000. Sale of magazines, $750,000. Looks like this business had a lot of incomes. Magazines worth $60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. Magazines worth $60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. So we continue. During the year ended 30 June 2021, there was a receipt of $750,000 for sale of magazines. Magazines worth $60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. The assumption here is that we are going to, to acquire these magazines to the extent of $60,000. So if we are going to use our money to acquire the magazines, then in such like cases we'll have to include. The whole thing is if there is money movement. So let's assume there was money movement here because we are supposed to purchase even from ourselves. So I donated to various libraries during. So I think we'll talk of donation. $60,000. The total amount paid for production and sale of the magazines was 1.2. Total amount paid for. Let's get this right. During the year ended 30 June 2021, there was a receipt of $750,000 for sale of magazines. We recorded that one. Magazines worth $60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. We recorded that. The assumption is that we're buying these things. The total amount paid for production and sale of the magazines was 1.2. So magazine production 1.2. We paid. Magazine production 1.2. A lot of words in this. I'm trying to locate where we were. Okay, this is number 4. The balance, not number 4. Where were we? Okay. So this is number 6. The total amount paid for production and sale of the magazines was 1.2. No inventories of magazines were left as at 30 June 2021, so that's okay. During the year, the club acquired an office building through a bank loan. The club paid the first installment of loan repayment of $80,000 on 20 June 2021. So loan repayment, $80,000. Loan repayment 80,000. Loan repayment 80,000. The office building was painted and partitioned. Have they told us how much they acquired the office building at? During the year, the club acquired an office building through a bank loan. The club paid the first installment of loan repayment at 80,000. No problem. The office building was painted and partitioned at a cost of 5 or 7,000. The office building was painted and partitioned at a cost of 5 or 7 as a 30. Okay, so partitioning and painting office building. Partitioning, stroke painting, office, 5 or 7. Next. This thing is so wordy. Every time I get lost where we are. So during the year, the club acquired an office building through the club paid the first installment. We are done with that one. The office building was painted and partitioned at a cost of 5 or 7,000. As at 30th June 2021, an amount of 150,000 of the cost of partition was still owing to the suppliers. We are not less interested with that. Other payments made by the club during the year. Wages 1.7. So their payments, we just capture them as they are. Wages 1.7. Office salary 2350. Rent and rates 1450. Meeting expenses 1750. Stationery and postage 150. And lastly, stationery and postage 150. Accruals for the year ended were, now these are the accruals, no need, we don't go there, we are not interested in accruals. Repayments for the year ended, meeting expenses, it was captured in the meeting expense, so I think we are good to go. So receipts and payments, that's all. So let's get the totals. The assumption here, silent assumption, is that the debits will be greater than the credits. So let's get that. 4780 plus 3171 plus 980 plus 880 plus 1750 plus 364 plus 750. That gives us 12,675. 12,675. I hope that will be the highest figure. Let's look at the other side. So 720 plus 170 plus 60 plus 1200 plus 80 plus 507 plus 1700 plus 2350 plus 1450 plus 1750 plus 150. So 150, 1750, 1450, 2350, 1700, 507, 81, 200. I'm just taking a sample. You can just check. You can run through the whole thing. 1200, 720 plus 170 plus 60 plus 1200 plus 80. Okay. So let's get the total. 10,137. So if 10,137, it means 12,675 will take the day. and then now we say this minus 12,675. That gives us 2538. 2538. Like that. 2538. Good. So this becomes our balance carried down. 2538. That's what the question wanted. The question wanted receipt and payment account for the end of 30th June 2021. That's it. Just that. So just capture the cash movement. What comes in, what goes out. You might want to do some research on this donation. I've just assumed. I've assumed donation. Where is it? This donation. There was something donation here. This thing is so wordy. Yeah, number 6. During the year ended 30 June, there was a receipt of 750,000 for sales magazine we received. Magazines worth 60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. My assumption is that let's see if my assumption is wrong. Magazines worth 60,000 were donated to various libraries during the year. So if there's no money movement, we don't capture it. But if we are going to charge, that one is 50-50. Magazines worth 60,000. I think, look at the way we are going to interpret it. Magazines worth 60,000 were donated to various libraries in the year. So if we are going to buy them from ourselves, then in such like a case, we will show money movement, because you can buy and then we donate. But if you are just going to pick from the what we have, then in such like a case there will be no money movement. So I assume that we are going to buy from ourselves. So that will mean that there will be some cash movement. Okay, thank you. Let's meet in the next question. Thank you. You can subscribe, follow us. Thank you.